What's up guys, it's Hubs. I'm going to be doing Trial of the Gods level 5. But here are my units. Got Anima Elza with a Flag Flower and Leg 1 gem. Got a Breaker Rogan with a Malice Jewel. Then I got my Breaker Yulkina with a Dravis. My Anima Darvan Shell with Dandelga and Fake Stone. Fake Stone is a better version of Magic Ore. I think it gives 4 BC a turn. Or 5. Narza, Anima, Lexida. So yeah, I'm mainly using spheres from the Legend Vortexes like Lexida, Dandelga, Dravis. Malice Jewel is a 30% to all stat sphere, which is a high level arena reward, and then Leg 1 on my Elza, which is 25% from Frontier Hunter or Arena. She's also using a Flag Flower, which is another high level arena reward that increases spark damage by 100% and increases BC and HP drop rate as well. So I'm going to bring my friend's Anima Zelnite with the Medulla Gem, this BLZ guys. And then my item is going to be the general setup for running it tough content. 10 cures, 4 mistakes, 5 Fujin pots in total for instant SBB, and then 3 revives in case any other mistakes happen. So the first turn of Trial of the 2, you have to guard. It's kind of like Raw. If you don't guard, you're going to die. So I guard with all my guys. He pretty much nukes 60-ish% of my HP down for each unit. So I'm going to pop a Fujin Potion on Yulkina and have her just use her BB to heal and negate status ailments for the next 3 turns, and then I attack with everyone else. So I really like the setup because I have 2 damage mitigators and I don't need Lily Mama. Lily Mama was one of the best leaders in my opinion, and now she's not that good because of Narza. So you just throw out Lily Mama completely and you put in Narza, and now you have the BB fill per turn, or I mean if you're hit, and you also have another damage mitigator. So you have 2 damage mitigation plus kind of the same effect as Lily Mama, not as strong, but in my opinion it's not really needed anymore. You can see that my guys are charging really fast, especially with Zelnite to pick up the slack if it doesn't charge up. Menards is also using Alexida. He already has very high natural BC drop check, so I mean BC is just flowing out of everywhere this time. Also the fact that Yulkina requires like 18 BC to use her heal, and it's also mitigation as well. And then Rogan doesn't even need BC because his SBB gauge just instantly fills when you use an attack. Elza is also really good because she has high drop check. She's just good in general. I can see if I was to replace anyone on this team, I could replace Elza with another Zelnite, and then I would just have like infinite BB for days. Alternatively, I could bring another Melchio. He would give light element buff, and he would also proc Narza's BB fill, so that would be really good as well. I mean, I could bring another Darvangel, then I would have 3 damage mitigators. I think that's an overkill though, because as you can see, I basically had damage mitigation SBB every turn at least so far. So see, next turn I have my Narza, and the turn after that I'm gonna have Darvanshel. Actually, I already had them both again. Darvanshel is just really good. I'm using Yulkina as a leader because she gives a reduction to the BB gauge, which is really good in conjunction with everything I've got right now. Just it's very easy to generate BC with this team, and she also gives a 25% increase to attack, which is good too. I was potentially thinking about swapping my Elza out for Kuda because Kuda gives an attack buff and a crit buff. But then I thought there's no point because these guys should be crit resistance. Elza gives a spark damage increase, but then I realized that I wasn't really sparking as much as I would like because these guys aren't really all that good for sparking. Yeah, so man, I really like Narza. Narza and Darvanshel together are very good because on turns that Narza doesn't have his damage mitigation SBB up, you just like normally attack with him, and with Lexida he just it's insane how much BC he produces. Like Narza is good enough that in the future I'm potentially going to Sphere Frog him, and I mean he's going to have his SBB up almost all the time, and basically Lily Mama is just, she is outclassed by Narza in my opinion in almost every way, just because it's easier to get BB now. You can get Lily Mama's SBB had an extra perk where she would increase BB for like the next 3 turns. But there's other units who give like the same or similar effect as well, like Kula for example. So you don't really like, it's not that really important. And then with Narza's SBB doing like the BC fill when hit, I feel like it kind of matches Lily Mama's. It's not as strong, but you don't really need it to be that strong. You can see like The BB gauges of my guys are filling up, no problem at all, and it's just really nice, especially because Monarza, you can attack with him when he doesn't have his BB or his SBB, and the drop check is so high. Combined with Lexida, it's insane how much BC you produce. Yeah, and then Rogan is a swap for Lilith. Normally I would use Lilith, but Rogan came out now and he has extremely good stats. So in my opinion, Rogan is just like the better version of Lilith, and I'm basically going to use him over her every single time. Now he also has higher BC potential drop, so it's like 30 compared to whatever Lilith's was. So even more BC generated, which is really crazy. And then Yelkina just beats Altri in every single way possible. I mean, her BB is equivalent to Altri's SBB, and her BB only takes 18 BC. And on turns, like when I was fighting dual mechs, you could see that it was like, sometimes I didn't even need to heal, so I would just use her SBB and do damage. So basically, my opinion, Yelkina is better than Altri in every single way possible. She's also a pretty decent leader. I mean, I'm using her as a leader. I probably wouldn't use Darvan Shell as a leader. Narza might be an okay leader. Elza might be an okay leader. I probably wouldn't use Rogan as a leader. If I were to redo this party, drop Elza for Maxwell as a leader, that might be actually okay. Would have done quite a bit more damage. And then I would have had to swap out Rogan for Lilith, because then I would do more damage against Liko. But then again, I mean, this was just a fun party anyways. I've got like 3 of the new 6-star units in here. Actually, Yelkina, Rogan, and Narza, which is pretty cool. Elza is actually pretty new as well, and then Darvan Shell. Yeah. And then Zelnite's just a really good unit in general, because his BB and his SBB just like help you get so much BC so much faster. It's really good. Zelnite is really great in boss battles. So if you guys haven't really been paying attention to this succubus part, it's pretty straightforward. Basically, keep damage mitigation on as much as possible, and she basically just killed herself. She uses this thing called Fatal Bond, does 800,000 damage to herself every one of her own turns. So you're really just playing like a time-ticking game. I mean, I still attack with all my units so I can sustain BB, so I can heal when I get hit and have damage mitigation, but really, you just like, you're hitting this metal box where you do no damage and you're just waiting for it to kill itself. Yeah. And then the final battle is Liko. So she's actually pretty strong. Well, actually, that's not true. She's not very strong. She doesn't do a lot of damage, especially if you have damage mitigation. She basically does like nothing. You can see like she's a prime target, and she smacks my Rogan a lot, and basically she does no damage. So I don't even have to heal with my Yelkina. I can just attack with her to generate more BC. And then my Rogan's going to fully heal. She does have this thing though, I think at certain HP thresholds, I'm not actually sure because I don't really remember. It's something like 70% and 50%, she will one-shot one of your units. So you need to have at least 2 revives. 3 is nice to have. But yeah, it's the same idea here. Liko sometimes will drain BB gauges, but that's cool too if you have... That's what makes Narza really, really good here, is the fact that Liko will drain your BB gauge at the beginning of a turn. Oh yeah, she just one-shot my Rogan right there, even though I had damage mitigation on. So I just revive him, and then I heal and attack with everyone else. So Narza's SBB like is the same as Lily Mama's leader skill and her SBB kind of effect, where if you get hit, you get your BB gauges filled up. So what happens is Liko will drain your BB, and then she will go on to AoE BB spam your entire team, so you'll basically get full BB gauges, or not full BB gauges, but you will get BB on a lot of units. So here I was like, oh, I'm kind of screwed, so I needed damage mitigation. I knew Yelkina would get BB from Zelnite, but I wasn't sure, so I Fujin potted my Narza for damage mitigation, and then I popped my Zelnite, and then I actually got damage mitigation on Darvan Shell. So, I mean, that was actually avoidable in that situation. I just wasn't sure because Darvan Shell looked like he was really far away from having a BB. So I thought it was safer to actually just proc or Fujin pot Narza and use his SBB. But, I mean, yes, it's true. I could have just used Zelnite and then healed with Yelkina and then damage mitigation with Darvan Shell. But that didn't happen. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, so at that HP threshold again, she puts up a shield and she one-shots one of your units. So this time Zelnite died, so I just revived him as well. Basically, you know, use Narza's SBB for those buffs, Yulkina, and the rest. Yeah, so this is pretty nice so far. I thought, actually, doesn't Narza give you, like, status resistance too? Let me just search this up right now. But yeah, so Narza gives you damage mitigation. So, like, 50% damage reduction regardless of whatever the heck happens. And then he gives you the SBB, or the BB fill if you get hit. But I'm pretty sure he does something else, like status resistance as well. Yeah, so he nullifies status ailments for 3 turns, which, in my opinion, like with this team setup, it's pretty much useless, because Yolkina cures and prevents them for 3 turns with her BB. But I guess if you wanted to, like, I don't know, just like squads, different things you can use. I mean, I guess you could drop Yolkina and you could bring, you know, maybe Lancia, for example, because she gives you a heal and 3 turns, small heal, plus attack buff. So, I mean, that could have been more useful. Or you could have brought Elimo, which gives tiny damage mitigation, which, you know, I don't recommend anyone use Elimo's damage mitigation. It's pretty terrible. It's like 20% or something, which is just not enough. Other healers, maybe Themis, then you can get Dark Element as well, which could be useful if this was like a light element dungeon. Who else? There's Arius. Arius is like a not terrible healer. Like, he's not the best, but I mean, he's pretty decent. He has good stats. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of other choices other than Yolkina if you have Narza as well. But it depends what you want to do. I mean, with any basically kind of decent team, if you have damage mitigation and you have like a decent way to sustain Brave Burst, really you could probably make 100 different teams here to beat this dungeon. This dungeon is not the most difficult dungeon that we've ever had. It's new, but it's not really difficult in my opinion if you have the units. There are a lot of units that you can use to beat this dungeon as long as you understand the mechanics of it. So yeah, I mean, I could swap out Darvanshel for Ulu and this would work perfectly fine. I could swap out Elza for Kuda, would work perfectly fine. I could swap out Yukina for Alatri, it'd still be perfectly fine. So I mean, you just kind of have to work with what you got, and if you have like 5-6 star units, there's a very good chance you beat this dungeon. I mean, if I brought Lilimama instead, I would have had like SBB every single turn. It would have been crazy. Yeah. Anyways, this Liko is pretty close to dying. I've really taken my time this time with this event. Last time when Trial of the Gods level 1 to 3 came out, I was at school. So I just, like, after my class finished, I just went to like the common area. I sat down and I just like beat all 3 of them because I was on break. But this time it's like 3 days in now and I'm just doing the second one just because, like, you know what, the connection errors have been really bad and it's just like killed my motivation to play. I spent like 700 honor summons so far. No sphere frogs. I got a lot of imps though, burst frogs, and I have too many crystals now that I like rare summon to just max units. I've been maxing like duplicate Melchios too. Yeah, I still have like another 400 honor summons, but it's just so laggy and I have no space at all. And then I have like all these honor summons in my mailbox too. So yeah, I know. At least I'm very interested in Brave Frontier again. I mean, I caught my Zerg as well. Got him as Anima. I caught a Guardian one first, and then 2 runs later I caught an Anima one, and then I maxed him out at BB10 already. So he's cool, but I'm never gonna use him. Yeah, he's just not that good in Arena, in my opinion. There's much better things out there, like a team of 5 Elzas or Kudas, or even just Melchios. Melchios are cool too. Yeah. So again, Liko, it's not really that bad. Keep up damage mitigation, and she doesn't really do any damage to you. You just gotta watch out for those 2 thresholds where she will guarantee to one-shot your units. At least that's what I think. But I mean, if she doesn't one-shot your units, if there's a way around it, if you just guard them all, then I mean, you know, let me know. We can correct that with some annotations. But yeah, Liko is down. All my guys are basically fine. You know, I used 2 revives for the one-shot, and I still have all my cures, I think. Yeah. So it's pretty good. Pretty good run. Collect my rewards. I think I get a burst frog as well. Yep. And that's it for this video, and I will see you guys next time for Trial of the Gods 3.